Hello everyone out there on the AngryMarks YouTube channel, podcast network, radio network, or wherever you're listening to this fine program. I am Cyndi Seidelman once again with another exciting edition of Impact Implosion. Now, you might be wondering, where is last week's show? Well, I was getting ready to watch last week's show, but then something happened. It turns out that Pursuit Channel does not know how to program their damn schedules. What that means is, usually when you have a wrestling show that's 2 hours, you schedule it as a 2-hour block. What you don't do is schedule it as a 30-minute block duplicated 4 times. So that confuses all of the DVRs, so it only records that 30-minute block and not the whole 2 hours. So that's why I was not able to get last week's Impact Implosion out. And this one is late, I know for sure, because we just had an Impact on Friday, but that's because I had a lot of house cleaning that I need to get done because we had inspections on Friday. That being said, let's talk about Impact that happened on March 8th, 2019. And we start out with a really good match between Rich Swann and All Ego Ethan Page. Now, last week, All Ego Ethan Page decided to do something you don't really necessarily need to do in order to win a match. In this case, he didn't win a match because he decided to jaw jack with some NFL legends, and he got beat up for it. See? When Impact Wrestling has a partnership with the NFL legends, you do not try to beat up any NFL legends. See? It's that simple. So this match, there was a good back and forth to start, and Ethan jaws with the audience a lot during this match. I mean, it seems to be his best mode of offense, jawing with the audience. After Rich gets a leg up, so to speak, Ethan spends 3 minutes working Swann's back with knee strikes and backbreakers. You know, that is a really good mode that Ethan should do in his matches. You know, it's how you win a match. You take a body part, you soften it up, do a submission hold. Hey, you never know, you might win a match. And with this, he's getting in his all-ego mentality because he's just like, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm sexier than Todd Newton. Wow. Anyway, after stroking said ego, he loses all of his momentum as Swann counters his turnbuckle spot, get a dive outside, and a frog splash for 2. Swann goes up, but Ethan shoves the ref into the ropes. Hey! Now that's all ego right there. You can shove a ref into a ropes and not get DQ'd. Gotta love bending the rules. Some more back and forth strikes until Swann hits the off-the-rope cutter and a Phoenix Splash for 3, and Rich Swann is still your wonderful X Division champion. And now back to storyline. The big storyline going on between Rich Swann is with Sami Callihan and OVE. As you remember from the last time we did Impact Implosion, Rich Swann got beat up so bad he was in a local medical facility. Well, not local medical facility, they actually said hospital. So, it might have been true or might have been not. Who knows? Kayfabe. So, what happened is, Sami Callihan was ranting to him at the hospital. Rich Swann sees the nurse come in. The nurse berates Sami Callihan, but Rich says he is family, so he stays, and Sami has the shirt for him. Fast forward to this, OVE comes out, Sami continues to harp on about family, but this time, Rich does put on the OVE shirt. Really? So now we have 4 members of OVE, which is kind of strange because Rich is from Baltimore. Not even though if there is a city that's really messed up compared to like Cleveland, it kind of is Baltimore. But anyways, it turns out it's all a ruse. Super kick to Sami in the back of the head, springboard cutter to the Christs, and he tears up the shirt. Hooray! Rich Swann does not fall for the old chestnut, and we get a delightful DDP-esque spot. You know what? I'm happy for this. A lot of wrestling shows nowadays are really heel heavy, and there's not any solid faces. Rich Swann is a really solid face for the company right now, and I'm happy that they're keeping him that way. This is going to lead up to a really good feud between him and Sami Callihan, which could possibly lead to a street fight of sorts at Rebellion. Or it might be Jake Chris, because Jake Chris seems to be the guy who, in that stable of OVE, who seems to be the X Division type. Sammy, I don't know what they're doing with Dave, even though Dave is a prick. Trust me, I know it from experience. Okay, we get an LAX vignette next, and Conan... Oh, God. How do I put this? Conan says that they're outstanding in the field like the scarecrows that you are. I am having trouble contemplating that statement. So I'm just going to leave it alone. So we get some Josh and Don recap from last week's main event. Johnny injures his neck, and Cage is left bloodied and bruised. Oh, God. Now we get this prick. Investigative reporter Ronaldo Menendez. He gets told to go away after Casey's Cage in the locker room. He asks a stupid question to Cage. And he's told to get the hell out of here by Cage and officials. Trust me, we'll see more of him soon. Hey, now we got a debut! We got Ace Austin. And he's going up against Jake Atlas, who gets no entrance, no gimmick. He's probably going down. Ace, he's got a card trick magician style Atlantic City gimmick. You know what? I kind of like that style gimmick. He's not over the top with it. He just has the look. I'm pretty sure that down in a couple of weeks when he's backstage, he might show off some of those tricks. He also actually shows off a lot of those tricks in the ring, so to speak. It's a nice jar match. Ace gets the upper hand and shows off a lot of great moves, but a lucky boot by Jake has him down for a 1 count. Jake gets off a big move or two off for 2. But then Ace comes back with a few stiff shots and a front face driver and the fold, which is a running blockbuster move for 3. And Ace Austin wins his first match at Impact Wrestling. I'm happy for him. And he's got a good gimmick going. He's got a lot of talent. And I'm pretty sure he's hired to bolster up that X division that it kind of needs to be bolstered up, because you have Swan, Jake Christ. You could probably throw Trey of the Rascals in there, because it seems like Dez and Wentz are the tag team in that group. And there's not much else, so you have some good ideas there. And remember how I said we're going to see a lot of Ronaldo Menendez in this show? Well, here he is again. He's with Taya and Johnny Impact. And what bugs me about this is that he acts like a 56K modem trying to handle Skype. He says 3 words, stops for 2 seconds, and then says another 3 words, stops and starts, stops and starts. So it's like this. So, Taya and Johnny, last week you were injured by Cross and Moose. How you feeling? And it just goes like that for on and on and on. However, something is off about this. Impact can't act sympathetic to save his life. And he's coming off really smarmy in this promo, especially when Ty is telling Ronaldo to stop and says Johnny is going through neck fusion soon. Alarm bells ring. Telling somebody that he's going through neck fusion is a heel move. It's a big time heel move. So as a fan who has seen this song and dance before, alarm bells did go off in my head. I have a feeling this is all a ruse and he is turning heel, which is good because he needs to, because Impact sucks as a face. He sucks. Then we get a Reno Scum shouty promo. They lost following KM last week, but beat them up. So, oi, oi, oi. Oi indeed. We get an Alicia Edwards promo. Interesting. Says that her contract is up and she's torn whether to continue wrestling or settle down and start a family. We have another theme going through this show tonight. It's heels being misogynistic bastards. Yay. So, here it goes. Desi Hit Squad comes out and goes all neckbeard misogynistic red pill trash. Gama says women should serve her man. And then Alicia does to Gama gives him a nice slap upside the face. So, the Daisy Hate Squad decides to corner her. Eddie Edwards, her husband, comes out, canes the squad, decides goes for Gama, but gets jumped and gets beat down. Eli Drake comes out and acts like he wants to join in on the beating, because Eli Drake is still trying to get Eddie Edwards to do all the old school Eddie Edwards style wrestling that he loves to do, because that's what won him championships. Tag Team, X Division, and Impact Championships. I don't think he's won like that fourth belt, the Grand Championship, or Legends Championship, or whatever the hell the fourth belt was. Anyway, he decides that he's just going to beat up the Daisy Hit Squad and just give gravy trains to everybody. Hooray! So, you know what? I think Eli might be turning face, which is interesting because, and I'm kind of okay with this, because you got Impact going heel, Eli going face, so to speak, but we'll find out more in a couple of weeks, I do believe. Oh, God. Okay, here's my notes. Ronaldo, Cage, stirs pot, don't care. Basically, yeah, don't care. Alicia and Eddie are backstage, and Eli wants to team with Eddie against the Daisy Hit Squad to get revenge on Alicia. Eddie doesn't want to. Alicia says Eddie is stubborn and says, I don't know why I still tag with you. Ooh, ouch. So, next up we get a Moose and Cross promo. Moose shows up in this bright pink John Paul Gaultier suit. You know, it's kind of like Mark Henry's retirement suit if you think about it. But this one looks so much better on Moose. He's not swimming in it. So, Cross will continue to take out Impact if he and Moose don't get a title shot. Yeah, that makes sense. Moose propositions Melissa Santos and simply turns him down, and Moose looks all dejected. And what do you get when Moose looks dejected? You get a Rascals promo. And this one is interesting. You have Dez talking about masks and saying the mask will get them power, and that will help them beat the Lucha Bros in tonight's main event. So, Trey brings out a mask, and it's Kiku Taro's mask, believe it or not. And Miguel, Wentz says that, wait a minute, did you just rip off Kiku Taro's face? You have his face! That's gross! No, it's just a mask. And what they're thinking, they have the mask, then they have the power, and then they get the belts. Yeah, it makes sense. But here's the thing, unlike LAX, who's ripping off the Lucha Brothers masks, they're bringing in their own masks. It makes sense. To me, I guess. And then they go to town on Moose's suit. It looks like somebody, one of the best lines is, it looks like somebody ate the vanilla part of a Neapolitan ice cream. It looks like a chocolate dipped strawberry. And then they do the Rascals thing, you know, the Little Rascals. But hold on, we get to the Dark War. Yeah! Rosemary, Kira, Jordan Grace versus Su Yung, Allie, and the Undead Maid of Honor. Oh, Undead Maid of Honor. Well, we know how this is going. Okay, now, this was hard for me to take notes on for one simple reason. The entire segment is washed in red light. It makes it really harder to see the match. So I guess it kind of amplifies the Dark War, so to speak. So you can't see a damn thing. But we were able to get enough to kind of get an idea of what they were doing. It was a really good match. Rosemary does come out with like this cheap dog leash. And I'm thinking to myself, you're in Sin City. You can easily go to a shop on the Strip and get a thick leather collar and nice chain leash, you know, like what you have in BDSM. And you could actually do it that way, and it would make a lot more sense than just a regular dog leash. I mean, it's supposed to be like a dark war. It's supposed to be a battle between good and evil. I mean, you could spend more than the $4.99 at Petco to heighten up this feud. I mean, Rosemary just got signed to a new 2-year deal, so they have money to spend. But I guess they want to spend it smart, which I'm fine with. Really good match, although it has basic 6-man team structure. Hot start for Rosemary's team, but heels team up against Kiera Hogan, get all the heat on Kiera, and when Kiera attacks Rosemary, it's super hot. The crowd just pops for everything. So then Sue teams up with the Undead Maid of Honor. Sue blinds the Undead Maid of Honor, and that means it's time for everybody to hit their finishers. But at the end, the Rosemary hits her finisher, pins the Undead Maid of Honor for 3, and that means Allie is in the hands of Rosemary once again. Hooray! And drags her away from Su Yung, who looks distraught. She's like, oh no! My bond! My bond! And now it's time for some jokes. Conan sees Glenn Gilberti. Gilberti is trying to talk to Conan and see where Don Callis is. He says that you could be the mascot of Impact Wrestling. You know, you wore the turkey suit, you could be the owl, you could be like Anthem and wear the Canadian flag. You know, to me, Conan's like 50-50. Sometimes I like his stuff, sometimes I don't. This more than makes up for the dumb, outstanding in the field like the scarecrows that you are line that we saw earlier in the night. So he convinces him to cut a promo on Don Callis, who's in a locker room right there. Conan tricks him because when Glenn Gilberti cuts the promo inside his Killer Cross, the one person you don't want to piss off, and he gets slaughtered. And we take a commercial break. After being slaughtered and loopy, he sees Vinny Rue, Double J, and Cody, Matt, and Nick. It wasn't who they are, because Vinny Rue is ranting to 50 people almost every other day on Twitch. Double J is booking WWE right now, and Cody, Matt, and Nick are doing AEW. However, Disco finds Scott D'Amore. He then goes out to the ring and decides to do color commentary with Don Callis. However, Josh Matthews has to go to the ring because now we get Scarlett Boudreaux's promo. He says that when he interviews Scarlett, she says that there wasn't that much potential with everyone because they were falling over themselves because I am super hot, and how are they supposed to win championships? Which makes a lot of sense. But then Josh asks who has the least amount of potential, and Scarlett says it's obviously Disco Inferno. So Disco enters the ring and spouts off a whole bunch of misogynistic shit. Says, women wrestling hasn't been good since bra and panties matches. Well, now we obviously know he's good buddies with Vince Russo. So Scarlett Boudreaux smacks him upside the head. Disco says the Desi Hit Squad was right and accepts the challenge. And thus, we get a match 3 weeks at Against All Odds. So, Rosemary now talks to Kiera and says that she'll take care of Allie, but Kiera wants to be there. We'll find out more about this next week. So we get a Tessa promo. It's announced that there'll be a number 1 contenders match with Jordan Grace, which happened on this week's Impact. I couldn't watch it because the DVR is crap. Still on the Gail Kim thing, says that she screwed Gail Kim, blah, 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 blah. Main event time for this is the Lucha Brothers versus the Rascals. Now, even though we could actually see the match, it was hard to follow because the action was so fast and so good. I'll just go over some of the best spots. Pentagon wants Dez to do a move again. He decides to go for it to start, but then immediately super kicks Pentagon. Another good move is that Wentz lifts Dez over the ring post when they're on the floor and does a flip onto the Lucha Brothers in another great spot. However, all those good spots are for naught because super kick, Pentagon driver for the 3, and they beat the Rascals. It was a fantastic match. You should look for it on YouTube. After the match, Conan is talking to the Lucha Brothers backstage. They said, "You do not touch the masks." Conan wants to get LAX a rematch, and it looks like this feud isn't going to end, which I'm fine with because it's actually the best feud going on in the company. There's no stupid stuff. There's no Eddie Kingston running over kids. It's just a good, solid feud. So that's going to do it. Normally I'd talk about next week's Impact Implosion, but because the DVR decided to be a hoe again, it only recorded the first 30 minutes, I'm going to forego it next week, and we're going to do a retro Impact Implosion and talk about an Impact from the early days of LAX. So, until next time, take care, everyone. Be sure to like this channel. Keep on following the podcast. Keep on following the radio network. And until next time, goodbye.